Well, welcome guys. This is the last morning of WBC. We're sitting here with John Poniske, designer of many cool games. Actually, I bought Revolution Road the other day.
Oh, cool.
So I'm really excited about that one. The wife allowed me to buy some games, so I know we had a good laugh about that. So today we are looking at the Devil Dogs of Belleau Wood. I think this is coming out on Kickstarter.
It's coming out on Kickstarter with Worthington Games.
Worthington Games. Do you have an idea when that is?
Yes, toward the end of this year.
Okay.
Possibly before Christmas.
Okay, that might be a good thing to get it done so it can be produced next year.
Yeah.
So this game, what's this game about?
This is the Devil Dogs of Belleau Wood. It is the battle at the end of World War I, 1914, wherein the United States Marines gained a reputation.
Right.
A lot of legends around that. There was only one other game, to my knowledge, that was done on it. It was in the 1970s when graphics were not all that good. And it was a pretty fair design. But what I wanted to do was produce a more modern design with more color and more detail. And that's what my son and I have done.
Yeah. So you co-designed this with your son?
Absolutely. In fact, he was the impetus, and he is the brains behind the card-driven aspect of the game.
Okay.
Your viewers are probably comfortable with a lot of card-driven games.
Yes.
This is not your average card-driven game. These are the cards. There is a 30-card American deck and a 30-card German deck. And this is the heart of the game. The game revolves around initiative, your ability to motivate, to get going. And the initiative begins with one faction, but as the game proceeds, the initiative will go back and forth. Now there is overall initiative, which is battlefield initiative, but there is also sector initiative. You'll notice there are 4 sectors.
Yep, 1, 2, 3,
and
4.
This is all determined by casualties and by chip draw. And that will determine how the cards fall. In other words, what kind of orders you can issue your troops. On each card, there are 3 lines, and these are 3 different types of orders. The first order is an active order, which means you have the initiative, you are moving forward. The second is reactive. You are reacting to your opponent's active orders. And the last one is a general order. Every turn, you have a choice between 2 orders. If you have the initiative, active and general. If you do not, it'll be reactive and general, your choice. But once you choose it, when the chips fall, it may screw you up. You may be relying on a particular order, but the chip tells you you have to do something different. And that's where the fun in the game is.
So it throws a lot of chaos and unpredictability into it. Isn't that the way combat and general planning is? So
that's exactly right.
That sounds good.
Now you'll notice that there's 2 bags of clear plastic discs. This was our idea of showing pinning, the inability of a unit to move. And
so pinned down by fire or other conditions.
And these are damage to a unit. We call them falter units. When these add up, you gradually erode the ability for units to fight. But we've also figured into the game the ability of broken units to come back together. They would come back broken, and it would be on the American side. For every 2 units that are lost, rounded up, you could bring 1 back that is broken. German side, for every 3 that are taken off the board, rounded down, you could bring 1 back broken.
Can you rally those troops to make them?
Yes, rally is one of the major orders in here. Now you'll notice that there are also 3 columns. The first column is movement. That's the first thing that you would do in the turn. The second one is machine gun casualties. World War I was horrendous for casualties due to machine guns, and we wanted to figure that into the design. So these are automatic casualties.
So when
there's no rolling of dice.
Got it. So when you use that order, you're going to lose 2, 4, or 1 casualties to MG5.
Within line of sight, you are going to cause 1 to 4 steps of damage automatic before anything else happens. The last thing are the keyword orders. And they are one of, I think, at this point, approximately 22 separate orders that you could choose from. You'll also notice in the movement area, there's red, yellow, we'll get another one here, and blue. Red means you are advanced. You have to, if you play that order, you have to advance at least one. And that means if you made a mistake, you're leaving protective cover. The yellow means reposition. You can go any direction. Plus, you can also choose to stay put. But blue means you have to retreat at least one. Okay? We have worked into the game the ability for a unit to remain in place, but if they do that, they are disobeying orders, and that means they're pinned. Okay? Pinning means you have half firepower, so it's dangerous to pin your troops. Right?
So this is it seems like World War I is a big topic right now. There's a lot of games.
100 years.
Yeah, 100 years, that's a big part of it. What do you think sets this game apart from other than the fact that this is the story of the Marines? How does this set apart from other World War I games?
Most World War I games are on a much larger level. This is company level. Each unit represents one company. And an interesting thing about this part of the war is that the Germans were winding down. They were played out. They were beyond their supply lines. And many of their units, which if they were at full strength might be around 120, have been whittled down to around 30 men.
So very combat ineffective.
Correct. And for that reason, we give the German units 3 steps. The American units are coming in fresh. They have brand new equipment. They haven't actually been in battle. They have high morale. They have 4 steps.
Got it. Not good for the Germans.
Not good for the Germans. However, the Americans are facing many more units than they are coming in with themselves. The Germans deployed elements of 5 divisions. Okay. The Americans are coming in with elements of 2.
So it's a matter of smaller companies, but lots of different divisions for the Germans.
Yep.
The Americans have a couple of divisions, but they're fresh and ready to go, so it evens out that way.
The Germans get pushed around in the game, but it is relatively balanced in that there are massive casualties.
Okay.
3 or 4 turns into the game,
The
map is covered in red.
Who did the map, by the way? It does look
The map is done by a famous Civil War cartographer, Rick Barber.
Rick Barber. It's a nice looking map. I like it.
He's done several other maps for me. He does all of his maps by hand.
Okay.
These are not done by computer.
Right. It looks like a lot of care has been taken.
He has a big fan club.
Yeah.
And
so,
I'm lucky to have him working with me.
Yeah. So one other thing, talk about the 4 sectors or the 4 areas.
Well, the 4 sectors are a way of adding some chaos into the game. The person with the battlefield initiative would choose the first sector. Then the alternate player would choose a sector, and then it goes back and forth until all the sectors are covered. All of the battle takes place within a sector until you move to the next. You can, in some cases, have a unit on a hex that borders 2.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing whatsoever, because that means you can activate them twice, you could fire them twice.
Got it. So these cards, and you've got a kind of a frame that you built here, these cards are going to be placed like this, representing the different sectors, correct? You're going to kind of pre-plan and put those up?
Correct.
How does that work out?
Well, the first thing that you're going to do when you get your hand is you are going to take a card for each sector plus 1 additional, so you have a choice. You're going to choose what orders are likely to come up based on your initiative. You're going to place them face down, 1 in each sector that the scenario covers. There are 6 scenarios, 3 what I call training wheel scenarios to get players
familiar with mechanics.
Right. And 3 historical scenarios that take you through the entire 20-day battle. Once you have done that, each player has 4 of these tokens. Now, these are playtests, but they show active, in which case, you're going to place it facing your opponent. Reactive, blue, facing your opponent, or general. Now notice that this is placed before you draw and drop the chips.
So you kind of,
if I choose general,
right, and something happens.
Yeah, right. You just don't know. A couple of the orders in this are particularly interesting, and those are bombardments. You have a regular bombardment. You have what's called a sausage bombardment, and that doesn't mean you're dropping bologna. It means that the Germans used observation balloons that the Allies called sausages.
Got it.
That means
That's what
it's going to be an accurate barrage.
Okay.
But you also have gas barrage. The effects of these barrages are massive. They could be a game changer, particularly in that sector. Everything that a barrage lands on or is adjacent to takes an automatic step loss.
Nice.
Gas remains and drifts.
So it moves from hex to hex or even area to area?
Yeah, it lasts 2 turns. The first turn, it has a wider range. The second turn, a smaller range, but after that, it disappears. But it acts as a roadblock for movement.
Right. You don't want to move into gas.
No,
for sure. So what have been playtesters' overall comments about the game thus far?
They've been pretty amazed at the uniqueness of the approach.
Okay. Well, it definitely looks interesting to me. I like World War I games. We've gotten into quite a few of them recently, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. So what would you say, in summary, what do you think people should understand about this game to get them interested in it?
That it was the battle that helped set the reputation for the Marines, and if you want to know something about what the Marines went through and how they got the reputation,
this is where it happened. Yeah. I know General Pershing said a Marine and his rifle are one of the deadliest weapons on the planet.
That's right. And in one of the German diaries found after the battle, they found a German quote which was, these American Marines, they kill anything, everything.
And they called them devil dogs or Teufelhunde.
Well, that's interesting because that's apocryphal.
Right.
They did not.
They did not.
That was part of the
American
publicity.
Yeah, there you go.
Because at the time that this happened, it was the Marines were actually in danger of having them cut from our military.
Oh, got it.
So they had to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And their publicists helped to do that.
Excellent work by that guy, I think. So.
Yep.
Well, guys, thank you, John, for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciated it. I know this is a game we're very interested in. We did an interview with John, a very, very lengthy interview. It's on our blog. But this game definitely is interesting. Look for it on Kickstarter this year from Worthington Games. The Devil Dogs of Belleau Wood, John Poniske. Thank you, John.
Thanks for taking an interest.